If I've said it once, I've said it, what, twice. Who says the tax code has to be so darn complicated? But why do we make it so tough for any politician who dares at least try to make it simpler? Florida Senator Marco Rubio, the latest to come under fire for a tax plan that could very well mean firing a lot of tax accountants. It gets rid of a lot of investment taxes and narrows the income tax rates to two, one at 15% for couples making less than $150,000 and the other at 35% for couples making more than $150,000. Now, he wants to slash corporate tax rates to 25% as well, which he says would encourage them to bring the trillions they hold abroad home, even though his proposal is generating plenty of heat on the left and the right here at home.
You do these two things, something that empowers individuals and families, combined with a pro-growth tax rate, and you're going to see dramatic growth in our economy, dramatic growth in wages, dramatic growth in productivity from an economic perspective.
You know what you're going to hear from your critics. Oh, he's a friend of the super rich. Someone like Mitt Romney who gets all his income from capital gains, et cetera, walks off scot-free.
Well, I always laugh because the majority of people that accuse me of that happen to be millionaires, and they're lecturing me, the son of a bartender and a maid, about the plight of the middle class. At the end of the day, what hardworking Americans need is better paying jobs. And the only way you're going to create better paying jobs is by making America the best place in the world to create them. And our tax code as it stands today is an impediment to that.
Look, I'm not saying Rubio's plan is the best. What I'm saying is it's clearly better than the mess we've got right now. So we can quibble about deductions and rates and who pays what. But there is no quibbling that this kind of thing is long overdue. So far from faulting guys who try and get out front and call our tax scheme for the sham it is, maybe we should be calling out the critics who all but seem to be screaming, keep things the way they are. I say that is not an option. That's my spiel. Tax analyst Dan Mitchell, columnist Veronica Dagher with theirs. Veronica, what say you?
You know what? I think tax reform is something both sides of the aisle want. Actually getting it done in the most polarized environment we've had in, I don't know how long, it is impossible. Good luck. You know, I think the will could be there, especially it makes an interesting sort of pre-election talk and fodder and headlines. But as we get closer to the election, in terms of actually getting things done, I think those odds go really, really low.
Why is simple bad, Dan? What always happens?
Well, simple's not bad. It just depends on what your definition is. That there's an old joke that Barack Obama has a simple two-line flat tax. What did you make last year? Send it in. Whereas on the other hand, you have like the Dick Armey, Steve Forbes type flat tax, but that's based on the principle of a low rate and no double taxation. And of course, no double taxation is a principle of Senator Rubio and Senator Lee's tax plan. But the problem is the White House, their idea of, more seriously, their idea of tax reform is more class warfare, higher rates. So there's no Bradley or Gephardt like there was in the 1980s who could work with Reagan on tax reform. So I don't think we'll have a chance of anything.
Yeah, that was the last time we really had it, right? Part of the 1986 Tax Act. But the fact is, right now, Veronica, if you think about it, these things are variously torn apart on the issue of they're not immediately revenue neutral because it's almost impossible to do that. I think in Rubio's plan, you lose money before you start making money. The other issue is some group is always getting perceived to get an advantage that others are not. The fat cats, for example, would pay no investment taxes. The senator's saying to spur investment and to keep the markets going and to invest in promising companies' technologies. But others will hear that and say, oh, that's just making Mitt Romney happy.
Right. And so I think to get the average voter interested, especially in something like corporate tax reform, I think you have to put it in their language. Like, why should we care? Why is lower corporate taxes going to affect me, American average voter? Is this going to mean more growth? Is this going to mean higher wages, more jobs for me? I think if you can put that in that language, you can perhaps get away from some of the populist rhetoric that goes on along with tax reform talk.
You know, Dan, the argument for repatriating all that money back home, and the senator wants to do that, is that these companies will then, invest in plants and equipment, new jobs. The last time we did something like this, though, they just pocketed it. They just didn't spend it. Now, of course, we were just entering a recession at the time. They had good reason to. I always argue it's their money. They could do with what they wish. But having said that, do you think that's going to fuel this debate? These selfish guys will just take this money away from Americans